gospel, give their life to Jesus, and go out and tell other people about Jesus. That's what, back the first day, that's what they did. It was all about Jesus Christ. I mean, he came, he hit it, the earth, he created the earth, but he wanted people to know that, hey, this is serious stuff. But sometimes we're just complacent, we take things for granted, and we can't do that. We cannot do that. So when we look at this, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about Acts. And really suggests the attitude of the subject supplier, the petition of one who is lesser. You're lesser in position. No, I'm lesser in position when I talk to God. I'm not equal with God. You're not equal with God. I mean, I'm telling you, God he is par excellent. He's done everything. We sin. They never sinned. They never sinned. I don't know, maybe someone in here has never sinned. Will you raise your hand, please? Because I need that medicine, whatever you're on. Okay, you're going to get your medicine, the diet you're on. 6 months, don't go back to see the heart doctor. We got to get that formula, okay? We got to get whatever it is, okay? But we talk about, that we need to understand that there's different definitions. Sometimes that blows my mind when I see that. So we talked about this last week. Well, we're going to jump in with another definition of Acts. And when I saw this, and I really looked at it under a microscope, so to speak, I was just really intrigued. But before we get there, I need to show you this. You know this. I know this. I learned this back when I was 18 years old. That was a long time. 18 years old. But the fact is, when we look at the Bible teaches in 4 ways. There's no doubt about that. You have the fact. This is how the Bible teaches. You can mark this down. You know this. I'm just revamping. We're just going back a little bit. Genesis 1:1. What does Genesis 1:1 say? Anyway. Okay. In the beginning. Yeah. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That's a fact. That's a fact. There's no debate. But yet we have professors, we have doctors, we have people, and they want to say, no, that never happened. Well, it's a fact. That's the way it is. We have people that are called atheists and whatnot, they don't believe that. But we believe that. Those who are disciples, saints, believers, you believe that, right? And I'm not discrediting doctors. I have doctors that they don't believe, and I just don't hang out with their theology. I don't hang out with what they think about. Because I believe in God. I believe in God. Okay, number 2, direct command. Remember Ephesians 4:30 and 32? This is a direct, this is not conjectural. This is not what I think, Leslie. This is what you ought to do. This is a direct command. The Bible teaches like that. Andrew, I know you know of it. Would you read out? I don't want to quote. I want you to see it. I want you all to read it, see it. Ephesians 4:30 through 32. This is a direct command. And there's a plethora of verses on these 4 issues too, or subjects.
Do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, by whom you were sealed from the day of the Let all bitterness and wrath and anger, and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with all malice. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving each other, just as God in Christ also has forgiven.
That is a direct command. And yet there's people in churches of Christ, you're not going to while they're here, they do it, but when they walk out the door, you just forget about it. Can't stand that lady. You know what? I didn't get no chocolate eggs. We'll go buy some, okay? But this is a direct command. This is not up for debate either. But people say, we pick and choose. Pick and choose, that's the problem. Religion. This is something that God says you've got to do. You've got to do it. If you have a problem with someone, get over it. You say, well, no, I want to wait for them to come to me. Maybe they'll never come to you. Then they die, and it's like, oh, I wish I would have went to them. Go to them while you have a chance. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, this is what the Bible teaches. Number 3, we've got an example. Remember Matthew 16:19? Samantha, would you read that, please, dear? Matthew 16, verse 19. No problem. But you can use these when you're teaching someone and say, well, look, especially when you're teaching other denominations, we go by this. Because what you're going by is book, chapter, and verse. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no counsel against God. None. Divinity. Unless you listen to someone who thinks he's higher than God. That don't leave nothing out for I am, does it, Anthony? But when someone says I am, and there's movies, very good movies, they play off of that. I am. You should never play off of I am. Don't do that. But anyway, the world is the world, all right? But anyway, okay. Samantha, please.
If I were to give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven.
Don't we follow that command? This is what Jesus told Peter. This is what it's all about. This is the way we do things. We understand that Jesus is in control, and he's saying, listen, look, it's already down there. But if it's down there, up there in heaven, it better be down here. Because if it's not down here, you're not going to get bound up there. You get it? Okay? So, in fact, direct command, example, and one by the way, necessary inference. When you use that word necessary inference, really what you're saying is necessary information. This is how the Bible teaches, ladies and gentlemen. Acts chapter 8, 38 through 39. Linda, would you read that, please? Acts chapter 8, verse 38 through 39. This is in other words, this is what we know. We come to the conclusion. We're not guessing. It displays it almost like a parable. But it's not a parable. This is what he's saying. Acts chapter 8, verse 38, verse 39.
He ordered the carriage to stop, and they went down into the water, and full baptized. When they came up out of the water, the Spirit of the Lord caught Philip away. The eunuch never saw him again, but went on his way rejoicing.
We understand, what did the eunuch do right there? He was what? He went down into the water. You say, well, you don't have to go in the water. But he came up back out of the water. And when you take that verse and you apply it with the other verses about baptism, you get the big picture. So we call that, and that's, sometimes we don't use all the verses, we'll use one and we piggyback off of it. That's what we're doing with prayer. There's a lot of examples you can pray. You can go to your closet and pray. You can pray in the church building. You can pray in the car. You can pray when you're out gazing at the stars. There's a plethora of verses that talk about all that, ladies and gentlemen. It's in the Bible. Everything I say, if I can't back it up from the Bible, I don't need to say it. That's what I'm saying. Okay? That's why Jesus said, let your yes be yes, and your no be no. Whatsoever is more than this cometh of evil. Matthew 5:27. We don't do that. You have yea or nay. You better be able to back it up in the Bible. All right? But I say unto you that every idle word that man shall speak, he shall give an account thereof on the day of judgment. That should be frightening. That's why when we ask God, God, forgive me for my words that maybe I caused someone to sin because I was bitter against them. I did not befriend them. I was begrudging them. We better ask God for forgiveness, and then you better go tell that person you're sorry. Or if you go, God, I'm sorry, and God will forgive you. And see that? God's talking to me. Okay? It's okay. All right? I love it. I thought I was here. I was like, okay. I like this. Okay? All right. I was going to say, I'm not no apostle. Okay? No, so the Bible teaches in 4 ways. A fact, a direct command, example, and necessary efforts. Now, with that said, let's go on. Terms which define prayers, what we've been talking about last week. So, now look at this one. When you look at it before, the lesser prays to the higher. That's me praying to God, or you praying to God, or other people praying to God, or yada, yada, yada. But I want you to notice something here. When I was doing this, several years ago, you got this other great word, brass, Euroteo. Now, I want you to see this. This is not that you need to know that, but I want you just to understand something because of who we're talking about here. We're not par excellence. We need God. God does not need us. Did you hear what I just said? But He loved us so much that He wants us. But we need God. If you're going to make it to heaven, it's because it's not hodgepodge. It's because you love God. If you don't love God, you're not going to make it to heaven, ladies and gentlemen. You said, yeah, right. You can't be our judge. You don't love God. I mean, this is not really an epiphany that I'm having right now. But look at this. More frequently, it suggests that the petitioner, okay, is on a footing of equality or, look at this, closeness with the person whom he requests. They're familiar. It is used of the Pharisees who desired. You know what that word desire there is? Who ask, request, or beseech Christ that he would eat with them, and indication of the inferior conception he had of Christ. Now, I want to show you this. Luke 7:36. Luke chapter 7, verse 36. Anthony, would you read that for me, please? Luke chapter 7, verse 36.
When one of the Pharisees invited Jesus to have dinner with them, he went to the Pharisee's house and reclined at the table.
Now, I want you to think about that. People was befuddled. They were mad. They were hot with knowledge. Why is Jesus going and eating with the Pharisee? What's up with that? Why would you do such a thing? Watch. In this respect, it is significant that the Lord Jesus never used a gift. Never. Not what I did. In the matter of making requests to the Father, not once did he ever use that word. No one would never know that, unless you're some scholar with Greek and Hebrew. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not. Anthony, you can have it, because I'm not. He never did it. That's mind-blowing to me. So what are you saying, man, or Danny? The consciousness of his equal dignity. We're talking about, really, who is God? Who is this God? Who is Yahweh? Who is Elohim? Who is Jehovah? Who is he? Of his potent and prevailing intercession speaks out in this